looking to buy a junior executive luxury home in Victory Park? Good afternoon. This is Xavier with Luxury Homes Johannesburg. Today we are back in this gorgeous suburb of Randburg where we're about to tour this home behind us. Now, with me is developer Troy, who's going to take us on a tour. But specs on the house. This is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, 2 garage home. Guys, talk about value for money. Without further ado, Troy.
Thank you, Xavier, and thank you very much for that very kind introduction. I'm really glad and proud to show you my latest development. It's here in Victory Park, as Xavier said. And this property was built in 1976. It had never been renovated prior to the original build. The philosophy behind the property and my design when it comes to all my projects is to bring the property back up to the modern day era and to continue the legacy of the old property. As we're walking into the property, I've redesigned the exterior. I've put a brand new deck. It's a nice dark wood color. And as you will see as I take you on the tour of the property, it matches and highlights the dark wood features within my property. Xavier, please come through and have a look.
We already had a tease from the outside looking in, but this is one gorgeous property, Troy.
Thank you very much. So welcome to the official entrance of the property. As you can see, it is completely open plan. It's modern minimalism, as I like to describe it. I wouldn't go as far as classifying it as a Japandi or Scandinavian, but somewhere within the mix of that. One of the highlights of the property is the ceilings. Now, I have a real affinity for lighting and ceiling designs as a developer. And when redeveloping this property, there were no ceilings whatsoever at the bottom. It was just a standard slab. As you will see, I've put shadowline ceilings with modern slim bulkheads. The feature light over the TV creates such a beautiful shadow within that bulkhead. I really think this design creates just such a nice feeling within the home. It goes hand in hand with warm colors that I have incorporated within the property. Now, with respect to the entrance, Xavier, as you will see, I actually have had a custom color made on the walls. It goes wall and onto the ceiling. As you can see, I have the extended black downlights, which mirrors the 2 pendant lightings on the wall. As you will see, I've put a dark wood cabinet on the wall, and this kind of gives the contrast from the entrance to the lounge. Now, when coming over to the lounge, as you can see, I've designed a custom-made TV wall unit. The color of the wall unit matches exactly the colors of the entrance. It's that custom color, as I said to you. The reason it's a custom color and one of a kind is it's deliberately done to enhance these warm beige taupe colors within the property. Furthermore, you'll see I've designed a dark wood cabinet. This is not only for aesthetics, it is a wall-mounted cabinet, but it also has functional purposes. It's push to open close drawers, which obviously is handy for storage, but I think it goes very nicely with the design of the property. The initial property, when I bought it, was very dark and closed off. There were 2 main walls that blocked off the kitchen, dining room, and lounge. So my vision was to make the entire property very open plan, light and bright. A big feature for me and a must in a property is to have natural light come in the property. It is just inviting for a homeowner, their guests, and it creates a nice ambience within the home. So in terms of what we've actually done here, I've taken down the walls, we've put I-beams up in place of those walls, together with the shadow line ceilings and modern downlighting. Xavier, if you come into the dining room, I'll just like to show you just an example. The property has been staged for the purpose of the sale of the property. The reason for this is to highlight to the consumer, to the buyer, how one can furnish the property when they buy it. I think the furniture goes hand in hand with the design of the property. It's very minimal. There are a lot of browns and warm tones within the property. The property itself is very minimalistic, and the furniture does highlight this. When coming over to the staircase here, you'll see I've installed the glass balustrade. I had actually opened up the entire wall. It was one blocked up wall that made the property extremely dark. So I've opened up the property so that we can highlight the feature wall, which I will come onto just now and explain to you exactly what kind of feature wall is prominent throughout the property. When coming over to the wine cellar, which I've installed, which I think is a very nice feature within the property, it's not only functional as a wine cellar, but one could also utilize it as storage, as there's plenty of space under the staircase. Xavier, let's move on to the kitchen. For me, this is one of the highlights of the property for myself. Each individual buyer, consumer has their own highlights of each property. But for me, the kitchen really does stand out. I have taken inspiration from a Blue Line 12 kitchen, and it's been custom designed and custom made for this property. As you will see, we've gone with the soft tone colors within the cabinets with contrasting dark wood. Now you'll see the contrasting dark wood matches the TV cabinet as well as the entrance cabinet. This just ties the whole design into the property. And just continuing on the kitchen, the cupboard doors, as you will see, there's no handles. They're all push to open, very minimalistic design. And we have soft close throughout the kitchen. In terms of the fridge cupboards, we have an integrated double fridge or two single fridges. This, once again, just goes in line with minimalism of the property. When coming to the ceiling design, I have integrated beautiful chandelier. This is brushed brass or brushed gold, as I like to call it. And I have incorporated the same brushed brass within the basin taps. With respect to the island, which is actually my favorite part of the kitchen, it's 2.5 meters by 1.5 meters. It is extremely big, beautiful. It's a quart space product. And one of the things that I really personally have an affinity for is details in properties. And one of the details I'd like to highlight to you, which many buyers wouldn't actually notice, is this reverse bevel on the kitchen island. It's just personal touches that I like to give, that I like to put into my properties. It satisfies my needs and wants, and I hope that comes across to all the buyers. We have a 6-plate gas hob as well as a gas oven. All right. And we have 2 places here for your dishwasher, washing machine, as well as the integrated cupboards above. Now, Xavier, with respect to the feature wall that I mentioned earlier, I've integrated what's called Venetian plaster, or some may know it as stucco. This plaster is an Italian plaster with marble integrated into the plaster. It actually has 3 layers of plaster and 2 layers of wax that is applied to the wall and buffed with a polishing machine. The ultimate look with the Venetian plaster wall, I wanted to create a very subtle look. With stucco, you can have 2 variations or 2 different types of looks. You can have a very glassy looking where you can actually see your reflection in the wall, or you can have this soft, almost satin feel and soft approach, which I went for in this property.
And the entire wall is done exactly in that fashion, am I right, Roy?
That's correct. So we're looking at more than 50 to 60 square meters of wall of the Venetian plaster. It's an extremely high-end finish. It's not something that you see in everyday properties, and only one that you would see in more high-end properties. Xavier, as you can see, we have the guest bathroom. Absolutely everything is brand new with respect to the plumbing, bathrooms, vanities, etc. When coming up the staircase here, Xavier, you'll notice that throughout the property and up the staircase here, I've actually installed what's called a Semcrete floor. It's a cementitious floor product, and Semcrete is the known brand in South Africa. It's the leading brand for cementitious flooring. It's a very high-end product. It's very expensive to apply to the floor, and it is waterproof. Sealer has been applied and it's been polished subsequently. It's a brand new installation. I think the floor really does highlight, it's not a grey, but I would say it's in between a grey and a beige.
Troy, dare I ask how many square meters you've used in this place?
So in terms of the Semcrete, I've used roughly around about 100 square meters. It's a very complicated process, many layers, but ultimately I think the effect and finish is fantastic. Xavier, we're now here on the pajama lounge, as you would call it. We have an extra linen cupboard. The depth of the cupboards are extended, allowing you for optional space. Obviously, space is essential in every property and storage. Please come through to the master suite. This, Xavier, is the master bedroom. What I've accomplished in this room is one-of-a-kind ceiling design. I've done a double bulkhead with LED strip lighting, as well as these beautiful brushed brass pendant lightings that go on either side of the king-size bed. You will notice that when I take you into the main bathroom, that the colors all correlate and tie into one another. I've put a very subtle light green wallpaper on the walls. Green is the fashion at the moment, and I think it creates a very nice subtle look to the property. Xavier, this is probably one of the favorite rooms in my property. Besides the kitchen is the main bathroom. What we have done here is basically extended the bathroom, which was a 2x2 bathroom initially, and now it is roughly 6x3 square meters. I have done extremely large tiles here, the 6x1200 terrazzo tile. They are floor to ceiling, and I have contrasted the tile with a beige 600x600 tile on either side. Also floor to ceiling, I've incorporated the shadow line ceiling. As previously mentioned, I've got the brush gold double shower. The shower and taps are all bijou products, so very high-end taps and shower heads and shower arms, as well as one of the other features is the two pendants that are hanging over the freestanding bath.
Very impressive, Troy. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far, and I couldn't believe when you initially reached out regarding the asking price of this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the other 2 bedrooms.
Let's go through and let me show you the second bedroom. Xavier, as you'll notice, the flooring, what I've actually done to the flooring is I've put a vinyl flooring down in a herringbone design. It's not just standard straight lines, it's the nice modern herringbone design, and I think it complements the home with its nice soft look.
The staging as well makes it such a nice and inviting setup that you've got here, Troy.
I think the staging just complements the property, and it's absolutely fantastic. This is the second bedroom. As you will see, once again, every bedroom that I have, I've designed it to have its own feature wall, its own design in terms of the ceiling, pendant lighting, LED lighting, strip lighting, etc. Xavier, this wall that you will see here is also a Venetian plaster or stucco wall. It's just with a different technique and a different kind of wax applied to the wall with a different finish. The 2 bedrooms, the main bedroom and the second bedroom, lead out onto the balcony.
Very nice. Very cozy, yes.
It's a very tranquil and serene setting. As you'll see, there's the garden with the common gardens in the background. They have established trees that are hundreds and hundreds of years old. The complex is extremely quiet, with a lot of bird life, which is extremely appealing.
Very nice. And more cupboard space. Like you said, you can never have too much cupboard space.
All the cupboards and fittings are all brand new within the property as well. Xavier, let's move over now onto the third bedroom. Once again, you will see I've got a custom ceiling design. As mentioned earlier, I have a real affinity for lighting and ceiling designs. I think I've incorporated this design which matches the feature wall and the pendant lighting, which, as you can see, creates a very nice shadow on the main wall. The colors that I've chosen within the property are more beiges, as I mentioned, taupes, not really the grays. I think we've moved away from the grays now. And as you can see in this bedroom here, we have a nice extended passage for the cupboards, as well as potentially you could put a table here or a dressing table. So in terms of these older properties, what you do get is very nice high ceilings and bedrooms that are far bigger than your modern day complexes. Let's move on to another highlight of the properties, the second bathroom. So Xavier, if you come in here and have a look, what I've actually done to the property, the ceilings were very low initially. I've extended the ceiling heights, they're almost 3 meters in height. I think because the second and third bedrooms do share the second bathroom, it's essential to have a double vanity. All the vanities are custom made.
Very, very nice. So upstairs, 3 bed, 2 bath, 1 ensuite, 1 to share, and of course then a downstairs guest room as well.
Correct. There's a staff room at the back, which is also a very nice feature. It's not common nowadays to have a staff accommodation or a 4th bedroom, whichever one prefers to utilize it as.
So what do you guys think when I introduced this as a young executive luxury home? Do you agree with me? Because the way Troy's explained it, this is high-end prime real estate market. Look at this, guys, for this price.
Xavier, I'd like to mention also one other thing we didn't mention before we went upstairs is all the doors and windows I've changed to aluminium, but as you will notice, they're floor to ceiling. The ceiling height's here almost 3 meters. So the stacking doors, entrance door, all the windows are roughly 2.85 meters in height. This is part of the very high-end luxury feel of the property. It creates far more volume and space within the property, and it's just a further feature and detail.
Very nice. Now, on a closing note, do you think we can quickly hop across and check out some of the garden?
100%. All right, Xavier, well, welcome into the common gardens. Unfortunately, the weather's not playing extremely nicely with us today, but as you can see, like I mentioned, inside the property, they are extremely developed. It's a very serene setting. It's very well established, very well run, and absolutely beautiful, beautiful garden.
There you have it, guys. What do you think? Troy, thank you so much for taking the time to take us through.
My pleasure, and it's thank you so much for coming through to have a look at my latest project.
There you have it. Any questions? Make sure to reach out to Troy. I'll put all his contact details below, or just jump into the comments and I will take care of it there. As always, I hope you enjoyed this tour because I thought this was an amazing value for money property. I think you may appreciate it as well. As always, thank you so much and have an awesome afternoon.